This is one reason people are advising VDM to be very careful when they speak against this fulani, because they control the judicial, they control the legislator, they control the executive, they control the armed forces, and they control the healthcare in Nigeria. Hello everybody, welcome back to Plan B TV News Gist and Blog. This particular video that I saw, I felt the need to share it with you guys, and so that most of you will understand the hidden truth and the evil that these Fulani caliphates are perpetrating in Nigeria, and how they are buying everybody that are speaking against them, prominent people. Now, I want you guys to watch this particular video of Malafia when he was interviewed, how he exposed the Fulani caliphate. The same thing one of the Kanu were doing before they executed Malafia. I want you guys to watch this video.
It's interesting you say people of the Middle Belt and the whole South.
Yes.
You don't talk about the North at all. First and foremost, those people who say there is no such region as the Middle Belt. Those people who claim the Middle Belt are those who are trying to break up the Northern region and divide us even further. How do you react to that?
Well, those people are living in their own illusions. The North ceased to exist a long time ago. It ceased to exist with political Sharia, what President Olusegun Obasanjo called political Sharia. The Old North no longer exists. The Middle Belt is not just about geography. The Middle Belt is an identity. The Middle Belt is about history. It is about a people who were never conquered. Never conquered by jihad, never conquered by Fulani Caliphate, and they don't wish to be conquered and will never be conquered by that. We've decided that we will realign our destiny with the South. The South have not burned out our homes and our farms, so we align with those who share the same views as us, because we were never conquered. We were never at all conquered. That is why we are the Middle Belt. And the Middle Belt is like the English Constitution. It is in the heart and minds of the Middle Belt peoples. That is why Southern Kebbi is part of the Middle Belt. Southern Borno is part of the Middle Belt. Southern Adamawa is part of the Middle Belt. Southern Kaduna is also part of the Middle Belt. Anybody that was never conquered by the Fulanis is a Middle Belt person.
What's your grouse with the Fulanis?
No grouse, except we reject forcible conquest, the ideology of conquest, hiding under the garb of religion, the ideology of hegemony, the ideology of dispossession, trying to take over our land by force, is totally unacceptable to us, because our ancestors were never conquered. That is why we are Middle Belt. And, you know, and we will never be conquered. We reject that. It is not a grouse. When you use the word grouse, I think you don't do justice to it.
Because you talk about the herdsmen.
Yes.
I mean, in recent times, we've also seen even Fulani ethnic groupings suffer some of this violence. In Sokoto State, for instance, the people who were attacked were Fulani. In Zamfara State, for instance, the people who were also attacked, just a moment, the people who were attacked were also Fulanis. In Kebbi State, where we also understand that there is a vibrant farmer Fulani population, they have also suffered some violence from this so-called herdsmen. So can we really say it's about an ethnic group, or is it, something that we're yet to really put a finger on?
To be honest with you, I use the word Fulani as a generic term. That we have armed militias, many of them from foreign lands. You know, when you speak Hausa, and I speak Hausa like a native, I speak it better than my maternal language. Okay? And when somebody opens their mouth, you know precisely what kind of Hausa they have. Whether it is Hausan Kano, Hausan Zaria, Hausan Zazzau, Hausan Katsina, Hausan Sokoto. And when you know Hausan Niger, Hausan Mali, you know it. Many of these people are foreigners. We call them Fulanis because that is what they call themselves. And, but I think this is more than just Fulanis. But I think you are, if I may respectfully disagree with you, the killings in Zamfara ethnic, it is actually Fulanis killing normal Habbe Hausa people, indigenous Hausa people. And Berningwari, majority of them are Muslims, but they are Bagi people. Berningwari, the city of the Bagi.
In Sokoto?
In Sokoto, it is mostly the farmers that are being attacked.
In Kebbi?
In Kebbi, the same thing.
The farmers who are sometimes, and most times, Fulani as well.
Have you ever come across a Fulani farmer? I think you're making this up, Mope. There's no such thing as a Fulani farmer. There's no such thing in the geomorphology of rural society.
There are Fulani people who are settled. There are Fulani people who own land in this country, aren't there?
There are extremely few, and we don't really... You can call them Fulanis, but Fulani who have lost their language and so on and so forth, we hardly even refer to them as Fulanis. We hardly ever refer to them as Fulanis. The real Fulanis we talk about are the pastoralists. There are settled Fulanis, of course, but many of them are clerics, Islamic clerics. They are teachers, they are scholars, and they are the aristocracy, by the way. They are the aristocracy. So those of them who are farmers are an extremely small population. Extremely small population.
But they exist
Trust
nonetheless.
me, I have been...
They exist nonetheless.
They do exist.
This is from research done by other journalists. I mean, I haven't had the privilege of doing the research myself.
Yes.
But I have read from other journalists who have. They have been to those places and they can identify Fulani population who are farmers and have also faced this crisis of having to deal with this so-called herdsmen.
But we're talking in basic general terms. What's the percentage of those people that are actually farmers? I don't dispute. Just like, in fact, there are Biron people, there are Tiv people who actually earn cattle. And I wouldn't, for that purpose, therefore, say that Middle Belt peoples are also pastoralists and so on and so forth. I mean, we should, be very precise, I think, in the social categorization of these people. Yes, indeed, there's nothing wrong. There will be some small percentage of Fulanis who own farms. And there won't be anything wrong with that. The issue we have is with this ethnic cleansing that is going on. All men and women of conscience must reject it. We must draw a red line beyond which we will not longer accept it. And this nonsense has got to stop now. We reject it in total. And the call for restructuring is just right, because if this thing is going on with such a warped federal structure that we have, then it is better to have a proper federal system so that all the ethnic so-called minorities, and the Middle Belt are not minorities, because we've done some statistics, they're up to 40 million people. They're one of the largest groups in this country, as a group. Let these people have the right to choose through a referendum which region they want to belong to. So people that want to come together, that believe in the secular order of the state, that believe in humanity, that believe in social justice, can come together. Those who want to introduce the Wahhabi ideology from Saudi Arabia are free to do so, chopping people's heads and chopping their arms. That should be their goddamn business. But people who want to live in a civilized community should be free to come together in their own region, under their own government and their own laws.
It's very interesting you use the word civilized. Some people will say they take exception to that because for them, Sharia is civilization, and they don't see anything wrong with it. Some countries have practiced it successfully.
I've told of Wahhabi ideology from Saudi Arabia. That is barbaric and totally...
with due respect, it is. They're allowed to choose whatever.
It is very barbaric. They have no rights with women.
But you cannot condemn what they have chosen. It is their way of life. It is their religion. It is what they believe in. You cannot say that it is barbaric. It is not...
No, Mawape, don't get me wrong. I lived in the Arab world. I lived in Tunis. I traveled through Egypt, through Morocco. I supervised projects in those countries. I speak some Arabic myself. And Wahhabi Islam is not universal Islam. It is Islam particular to a part of the world. It is not the same as Turkey. You go to Turkey and you feel that you are among civilized people. When you go to Saudi Arabia, you feel you are among barbarians. I'm sorry. That is what I will never withdraw those words.
Immediately after I made this video, days later, he died. How did he die? According to the information that we Plan B TV found, that Malafia life became at risk time to time, that he was on the run, hiding from one place to another until eventually they got him. How did they get him? He was injected, he was poisoned, we don't know. But according to the information that his wife is online, so we are going to narrate how we found it. The outspoken Middle Belt advocate, Dr. Obadiah Malafia, passed away in Abuja Hospital. Malafia was among the first prominent Nigerians to raise the alarm about the current violence in southern Kaduna. The infiltrations of extremists of Fulani ethnicities across the country, including in the southern Nigeria, and their links with terrorist factions. During a 55-minute interview on Lagos-based media house before his death, he spoke, among other things, of the evolutions of the ongoing violence in Southern Kaduna. He asserted that the Nigerian authorities were both unable and unwilling to protect the life of the people there. He also concurred with May 2018 statement from retired General T.Y. Danjuma, which claimed that elements in the security forces were colluding with the perpetrators of attack on farming communities. Dr. Malafia went on to denounce individuals promoting the narrative that these attacks were attributable to former headers' violence as accessories to genocide, stating that he had been informed by repeated extremists that a current northern governor is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. He also asserted that Boko Haram and the armed bandits were one of the same thing. They have sophisticated network and intend to ignite a civil war in Nigeria. Following the interview, Dr. Malafia was interrogated 3 times by the Department of the State Security Service (DSS) in the Plateau State capital, Jos, in campaign described by Noble Lawrence Wole Soyinka as ongoing national security persecutions. He released a message requesting prayer. I have a reason to believe that my life is in danger and that some powerful politicians forces want to silence me forever for speaking the truth, for speaking on behalf of the holy mantle of thousands of innocent children, women, elderlies, and youths that have been killed in our beloved country. He subsequently went into hiding, but continued to speak out in webinars and conferences. According to the Middle Belt Forum, Dr. Malafia has been unwell since arrived in Abuja from Akure on 12 September. 5 days later, his wife took him to CBN hospitals where his senior medic was obliged to intervene before he was given oxygen and admitted. He was later given the choice of 3 hospitals. His wife opted for EHA Clinic. However, once again, a high-level directive had to be issued for him to be admitted. A few hours later, hospital staff informed Mrs. Malafia that her husband would have been transferred to University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Gwagwalada, as the facility was not sophisticated equipped to handle his case. She initially refused, but consented following assurance from the consultant that all would be well. However, upon arriving at Gwagwalada on the 18th September, Malafia discovered that the doctor who was meant to have been available to attend to him was not there, and those who were on duty were hostile. Mrs. Malafia was asked to pay a deposit of 600,000 even though the case was a referral, and the doctor flatly refused to place Dr. Malafia on ventilator when the complaints of breathing difficulties and requested one. The Middle Belt Forum also reported that doctors refused to perform chest compression to resonate Malafia. When writing, even when the wife could feel the pulse of her husband, the doctors flatly declared that there was nothing they could do since they had already pronounced him dead. In a statement issued on 19 September, the Southern Kaduna People Union (SOKAPU) demanded a thorough independent forensic analysis, while the Human Rights Writers Associations of Nigeria called for an investigation into Dr. Malafia's death, as there were very unsellable reasoning to believe that the alarm he raised, which was never investigated, may have been behind his sudden death. But the federal government refused to do investigation. However, Plan B TV team also discovered that Nnamdi Kanu was also arrested and abducted the same year. There were a lot of others that were murdered because they were exposing the hidden truths of this Fulani caliphate. Nnamdi Kanu has severally complained about his health in Abuja before he was later sentenced to life imprisonment. And many Fulani caliphates insisted that Nnamdi Kanu deserved death sentence. What was his crime? Because he said that our forest is not meant for terrorism. Because he said that he wants to co-base forest against Fulani caliphates. If you are living in the southeast, please rent a place so that people know that you exist and you live there. Stop raping our mothers, stop buying our mothers, stop executing our people in the farm, stop taking our farmland, stop destroying our crops. We must protect our life and our properties and our farm and our people. That was his crime, simply because he was wrestling against Fulani caliphate in the forest, not those living in town. But unfortunately, the federal government under the late Buhari sent Operation Python Dance to go after him. Unfortunately, by his people, the man escaped. But they didn't end there. They waited and lobbied with every resources they had that they could have also used to cope terrorism. They spent it to ensure that the capture Nnamdi Kanu, extradite him to Nigeria. When the courts and the judge hands were tied, the federal government carved and pressured them to ensure that they buy this man. They took him to the prison. From prison, the man were complaining about his health, just as Malafia. The man were complaining about his health and everything that this man have done to ensure that he deserve a fair judgment. He didn't get it. His crime is that he deserve a better life for his people. Nnamdi Kanu, under the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, were sentenced to life imprisonment, and Fulani Caliphate insisted that he deserved death sentence. The same thing that Nnamdi Kanu did, the same thing Nnamdi Kanu were saying, is the same thing Sunday Igboho did. Sunday Igboho called for Oduduwa Republic. Until now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu have never condemned Oduduwa Republic. In fact, Sunday Igboho under Buhari ran exile, but under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he returned back. He is still doing the same thing, fighting and curbing the forest, arresting Fulani, but nobody, because a Yoruba man is in power. When Peter Obi speak, another terrorist sympathizer came out on national TV to say Peter Obi has never disassociated himself from IPOB. Oh, because of that, he's supporting Biafra, he does not deserve to become the president. Has Bola Ahmed Tinubu condemned Oduduwa Republic? For once, if he has, let somebody post it or comment in the comment section. If VDM is watching this video, now that you start up a campaign to awaken the Hausas in the north to know that these Fulani have marginalized them codedly without them knowing, making them to become beggars in their own state. Fulani have occupied every component of offices in the northern Nigeria without allowing Hausa, who are the real indigene, to occupy a single office. When we talk about the state governors, the local government, House of Rep, Senate, no Hausa man is there. Even in their own Emma or Sultan, they are all Fulani. I love you guys. Until we meet again, stay tuned. I'll be waiting for you guys in the comment section to tell me your thoughts about this video you just watched. If you enjoy it, please let me know. If you don't, also let me know. But until we meet again, bye.